But here's the thing, my little chili babies.
Now, here's the thing, my little chili babies. The Jeremy Beremy episode is the Good Place's best episode, and any differing opinions or complaints can be filed with the wall. I'm joking. You can put them in the comments, but for now, let's go through this fantastic episode. Hi, everybody. Welcome to Mind and More, where we talk about anything that comes to mind and more. Today, we're talking about Season 3, Episode 5 of the sitcom The Good Place, titled Jeremy Bearimy. Including the series finale episode and the Season 1 finale, this is one of my favorite episodes from the show, so I just have to talk about it. I'm going to go through the events of the episode, its funny moments, and all its relatable aspects. We don't have time to waste, so let's go. The episode starts off with the gang, aka Eleanor, Chidi, Tahani, and Jason, on Earth, and they discover the magic door to the afterlife. This is all a big accident, and Michael and Janet are forced to give them all the details about the afterlife, how there's a good and a bad place, and how there's a point system that determines which place you go to after you die. Michael also lets the gang know that now that they know about the afterlife, they are doomed to go to the bad place after they die because their motivations are now corrupted. Anything good they do cannot add any more points for them because it will be tainted by the intention of wanting to get into the good place, rather than just being good for good's sake. They also learn about how time works. On Earth, it moves in a linear fashion, but in the afterlife, it moves in a Jeremy Bearimy, and that's where the name of the episode comes from. Meaning the graph for how time moves in the afterlife is shaped like the name Jeremy Bearimy. Now let me say, I love this part. Chidi is starting to have a meltdown and he asks what the dot over the I in Jeremy Bearimy stands for, and Michael responds that it's Tuesday or July, and sometimes it's the moment when nothing never occurs. I don't know what the heck he's saying, but I can agree with one thing, that nothing meaningful ever happens on Tuesday or in July. Those two are a filler day and filler month respectively.
Is the time moment when nothing never occurs.
That broke me. I'm done.
Anyway, after learning that they're all doomed to go to hell, they are obviously all distraught, but Chidi takes it the hardest. While Eleanor goes out to day drink and gets free drinks by lying that it's her birthday, she's a smart girl, Chidi decides to go to the park and brother looks like he is dying inside. As he's in the park, a guy approaches him wanting to sell him some drugs, and Chidi makes the whole interaction very weird. The guy asks him if he wants to talk to God, and he responds by grabbing this guy by the collar and reciting a 19th century quote. He says, "God is dead. God remains dead, and we have killed him. Who will wipe this blood off of us? What festivals of atonement, what sacred games shall we have to invent?" This is so bizarre, and obviously this drug dealer runs away, leaving Chidi there, where he then takes off his shirt in front of some sprinklers. Now let me tell you, Chidi was a comedic star in this video. He was having a whole existential crisis and it was hilarious to watch. He then decides to go shopping for groceries shirtless, and one of the shop workers has to tell him he can't shop half naked. You would think it's obvious, but no, he has to be told. And once they tell him that, he grabs a purple ladies t-shirt in the store that says, "Who, what, when, where, wine." My guy is going through it. By the time he's done, he's bought a bunch of nonsense for 880 Australian dollars, which is about 460 pounds, or about 600 US dollars, which is crazy. And on top of that, he just leaves both his credit card and his car and the groceries with the till attendant at the store. In the meantime, Janet and Michael are writing a manifesto about what they've learned from their experience, while Tahani and Jason are giving out free money on the street. I would have loved to be on whatever street they were on. They're just handing out bundles of cash to anyone who'll take it, which is basically everyone. Before Tahani gives people money, she's asking, "Excuse me, are you poor?" And Jason has to tell her that, hey girl, you don't have to ask people if they're poor first. Just give them the money. On the other side of town, Eleanor is still drinking and complaining that everyone should be allowed to do whatever they want in society because being good doesn't pay. And the bartender reminds her that society would break down if everyone did that. She also finds a wallet and she tries to steal the cash from it, but her conscience won't let her do it. So she ends up in a taxi, going back to give the wallet to its owner, and somehow also ends up dropping off a bunch of his things that he'd left at his previous residence. The guy is so happy to get his wallet back, not because of how he wanted his money or cards back, but because there was a picture of his daughter, rather a picture that his daughter drew for him in the wallet, and this is actually a very sweet moment in this episode.
You are a good person, Eleanor. I really hope my daughter turns out like you when she grows up.
Anyway, the next and funniest stop on Chidi's tour of distress is his school. He's a professor, and instead of teaching the kids moral philosophy and ethics, he's making a very disgusting chili with both meat and sweets, while still dressed in his tiny purple shirt. This is honestly the funniest scene in the entire show. He's singing, "You put the peeps in the chili pot," in front of his students, while mixing in some peeps candy into the meat chili. He then offers his students, saying, "Dip your paws in my chili, scoop your little mittens right in the stew." I mean, oh my gosh. I wouldn't have been able to keep a straight face, I swear.
Dip your paws in my chili. Scoop your little mittens right in the stew.
If you're enjoying this video and want to see more stuff like this, why not just subscribe? All the students look so stressed out, and one of them finally raises their hand and says, "Professor, I can tell you're going through something, but exams are next week, and can you teach us anything?" Chidi's chaotic self then calls the student a nerd before going into a mini rant about how they all should be nihilists. He tells these young people in their late teens and early 20s that the world is empty and that there's no point to anything because you're just going to die, so do whatever. He finishes off this rant by saying he wants to eat his marshmallow chili in silence, and that I quote, "You can all jump up your own butts."
You all can jump up your own butts.
It's the jump up your own butts part that gets me. I honestly can't think of a more appropriate way to act if you've discovered you're bound to go to hell though. Like, no matter how hard you try, like you're just gonna go to hell. I would be reacting the same way, honestly. I don't quite remember if he got fired after this. I think he did, but he should have, right? But then again, no one ever fires professors. I've seen professors do really wild things and no one bats an eye. This whole chili scene is absolutely insane. It's absolutely the funniest scene in the show, maybe even one of the funniest scenes in any show that I've ever watched. I am not doing it justice. You would have to watch it to see how funny this scene is. Once his students leave, Eleanor comes in and asks him to come with her to go see Michael and Janet. She's decided that even though they are doomed, they should try to help their friends and family live a better life and get into the good place. As Chidi and Eleanor are with Michael and Janet, Tahani and Jason come in and announce that they've gotten married. They decided to do so that Tahani can give Jason half of her money after her financial manager refused for her to give Jason all of her money because basically Jason was an unserious looking guy who took too many lollipops while in the manager's office. Literally, I think that's the reason why the financial manager couldn't say yes to this. When Tahani and Jason announce their marriage, Janet, of course, has her own little meltdown because she's secretly in love with Jason.
Wow, that's crazy.
After going through all 5 stages of grief in a single day, the episode ends with the gang starting to accept their own fates and resolving to help others instead. So there's some kind of bright side to all of this. So why do I love this episode? The main reason is Chidi. My guy was incredibly funny in this episode. Although I don't relate to being told you're bound to go to hell, I do relate to moments of existential crisis. In my lifetime, I've had a couple moments of just questioning my entire existence and just feeling like I'm going to lose my mind until I realize I'm overreacting and I should just get a hold of myself. It's never been that deep, but of course for Chidi it actually was that deep. Another thing I enjoyed is how he explained the three main ethical systems so well before going into his nihilism rant. He talked about virtue ethics, consequentialism, and deontology in such an accessible manner. The Good Place does its philosophical moments so well 99.9% of the time. I also loved how, despite knowing she was going to go to the bad place anyway, Eleanor decided to still be good and give that guy his wallet back. All of the work she'd done in the past year to improve herself hadn't gone to waste. She was now able to just be good without expecting any reward for it. I also love how chill her bartender was. He just let her have a bunch of free drinks and talked her down when she was saying some really cynical stuff. Then I also liked the sweet moment between Eleanor and the wallet owner. This all just reminded me of some really great experiences with strangers. Of course, be careful because stranger danger, but there's also times when you can have really great conversations with people you don't know because you're not guarded yet. You're just being real and honest because you know you probably never see them again. The other things I enjoyed in this episode are, of course, the Beremy explanation, Jason being an absolute child in the financial manager's office, the surprise marriage, the fourth Hemsworth brother showing up at the end. That guy needed some confidence, man. That dude was falling apart. Oh, and I liked how nice all the Australians seemed. The Good Place has given me this bias that Australia is filled with pleasant people, and now I'm dying to visit. Anyway, that was the Beremy episode, one of my absolute favorites. Did you also enjoy this one? Is it still on repeat? What's your favorite episode from The Good Place?
Goodbye.